Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online VGC 15 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. In the last episode, we debuted a new team built by Indiana Regional Champion Jeremy Rodriguez. If you have not seen the first episode, definitely check it out. It's a great introduction to some of the key components to how the team works, but definitely really fun, and let's see if we can continue to pick up some wins with the team. So, just going to jump onto the ladder currently with a rating of 1810, really trying to climb back into the 1900s. As always, if you guys enjoy Road to Rank, please share your support by leaving a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Now, in the last episode, we really focused on using Sableye. I think Sableye was, I would say, the MVP of the last episode, being able to spread Will-O-Wisps around, Swagger, even though Swagger actually didn't come out in the last one. Sunny Day was absolutely huge, too, against the Sun team that we went up against, as we find a 17-16 rated opponent from Japan. So, we'll see if we use Whimsicott in today's episode. As always, if you guys enjoy Road to Rank, please share your support by leaving a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. And I had to kind of laugh a little bit there in the beginning, because this team is very intriguing. All grass type Pokemon, but all of them do have dual typing here. But we see Breloom, Ludicolo, Ferrothorn, Abomasnow, Cacturn, and Pumpkin. I just call it Pumpkin. So let's see. Heatran definitely gonna be very good in this matchup. I don't really know what to expect, to be quite honest. Now Whimsicott here could be helpful because it can set up Tailwind. I might just do that. The question is Terrakion worth bringing? Because Heatran obviously is absolutely the most important Pokemon in this matchup. Actually, looking at my opponent's team, Abomasnow is most likely the Mega Evolution, given that nothing else can Mega Evolve. So the question is, do I bring Gardevoir, for example, or do I bring Terrakion? I liked Gardevoir a little bit more, given that Terrakion's weak to grass. So I might actually go with both my Prankster users in this one and just try to sweep through with Heatran and Gardevoir. I'm gonna lead Whimsicott. Sableye can't get faked out. And it can burn things immediately on Sunny Day. Let's just go with Sableye, Heatran, Whimsicott, Gardevoir. Yeah. So this is really weird because I'm bringing both of my Prankster users in Heatran and Sableye. I should have just actually realized that the Heatran, because it's Assault Vest, doesn't actually carry Protect, which could be a little bit annoying. Especially since my opponent's probably going to want to focus it down immediately. But what it could allow me to do, it depends on the lead matchup, honestly, for my opponent. I think in retrospect, Whimsicott Heatran would have been a bit stronger of a lead because I can set up Tailwind, or even Whimsicott Gardevoir. I think looking back at it, Whimsicott Gardevoir to start off the game to spread damage, and then Sableye Heatran to close it out with Heat Wave everywhere. So that was probably something I could have done a little bit better, but let's see. It's kind of rare to see mono-type team in general. A lot of these Pokemon are frequently underused in VGC. Looks like we're going to see the Breloom and the Pumpkin lead here against my Sableye and my Heatran. So I can burn the Breloom right away. The Frisk here actually allows my opponent to know that I'm carrying the Assault Vest, which is kind of bad. So I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp here onto Breloom. I wonder if my opponent's going to predict that, and as a result, Spore Sableye. But I could also just switch out into Whimsicott here. Yeah, Heatran's too important to really lose mileage with right now, so I'll pull the switch out. Once Breloom is burned, it really can't do any damage, so it can Spore, but not much beyond that. And then I can Encore the Spore as well here with Whimsicott. Oh, but we missed the Will-O-Wisp. He actually goes for the Superpower into Whimsicott, so I'm glad I pulled the switch out there. Now I can Encore that, but the miss there is really huge. Let's see what the Punkaboo goes for. He reverses, actually goes for a Trick Room. Okay. So I figured there might have been the Trick Room option there on my opponent's side. But I can actually kind of just Encore that. So I'm just going to go for the Will-O-Wisp and the Encore onto the Pumpkin. And Sableye, once again, does have the Sunny Day. So if my opponent has the Mega Abomasnow, I can Sunny Day to immediately get rid of that. But I definitely wish I could have connected with the Will-O-Wisp. Just because, one, that would have meant Whimsicott taking less damage. And two, Breloom potentially losing its Focus Sash and just getting chip damage off immediately. As wow, my opponent's hatched 13,000 eggs. That's crazy. I don't normally pay attention to the statistics, but sometimes it pops up when the number's really big and I'm just like, whoa. But let's see, this next one's going to be interesting because Whimsicott pressures both of my opponent's Pokemon with the Encore. So my opponent's going to be smart. He's not going to allow me to go for the Encore here. He's going to switch out into the Cacturn. The double switch out coming out actually from my opponent. Good play there for sure. I would guess Abomasnow is the last one, but it's actually going to be Ferrothorn. Okay. So I miss Will-O-Wisp again. Oh my gosh. And you can see how important Will-O-Wisp is in this set. Like, all my opponent's Pokemon are physical type attackers. But I'm just going to go for the Will-O-Wisp here, and I'm going to switch Whimsicott out into Heatran and just start Heat Waving. It's really important that I conserve Heatran that first turn, though, so I'm glad about that. But I am not happy that I've missed 2 Will-O-Wisps right now. 2013 really coming back to haunt me. Oh, and that's the one thing my opponent needs, you know, to maybe have a chance at winning this one. Otherwise, once Cacturn is burned, he can't really touch my Heatran, unless he has Bulldoze on the Ferrothorn, which could make some sense. But I'm, yeah, not content right now. Terrakion maybe wouldn't have been the worst call here. I mean, Heatran, once again, is just outright the most important Pokemon. So I am putting myself at a slight risk by switching out right now. But let's see where the strategy goes from here. It's also pretty interesting to see the superpower on my opponent's Breloom, since the standard Breloom, of course, is Mach Punch, Bullet Seed, Spore, and Protect. But, you know, when we were using Breloom from Senior National Champion, he did have superpower as well. But okay, I'll bring in Heatran here. Will-O-Wisp finally connects this time around. I'm going to target down the Cacturn. Let's see if it's Lumberry or not. Nope, no Lumberry. Perfect. Gyro Ball coming out, targeting down Heatran for a decent amount of damage, more than you'd expect. We do actually see the superpower coming out from Cacturn. How much does that do? Not enough to knock me out, but that's pretty scary there. And it's Life Orbed as well. Interesting. So maybe I should have stayed in with Whimsicott. That's what I was saying. I mean, the switch was kind of obvious there, so I should have just sacrificed myself to get Heatran in for free. Now I'll go for the Will-O-Wisp onto the Ferrothorn, and I'm just going to launch a Heat Wave. His Cacturn won't be able to knock me out at this point because of the -1 attack drop. But I don't like that last play I made. I should have just sacrificed my Whimsicott, honestly, to get the burn on both Pokemon. But part of me was a little bit frustrated. And I missed Will-O-Wisp again! Holy shimoli. Is that... That might mean... Oh no, he targets down the Sableye here with Gyro Ball. What? I've never even seen that attack before. Okay, but at least Heat Wave connects. So you just pick up a double knockout. Okay, sure. Like, that's pretty good. Rotelier, increasing the attack and the... At first I was like, is that a ground type attack? Is that gonna knock out Heatran? Did I just lose the match? But yeah. Cacturn trying to pull something fancy there, doesn't get it off. You're gonna see Breloom and Pumpkin come back in. What an interesting match. I'm gonna go for the Will-O-Wisp. Hopefully it connects this time around. And I'm gonna switch out into Whimsicott. I don't want Heatran to take unnecessary damage right now. And the thing is, once Whimsicott comes in, I can just Encore. Neither of his Pokemon can really touch me here. Gardevoir should be able to close out the game once Breloom is burned through its Hyper Voice. But we've hit 1 for 4 Will-O-Wisp right now, so this is very reminiscent of 2013. Let's see if we can match our record of 1 for, I think it was 6. Oh, we get it this time. Okay. So Will-O-Wisp connects with the Breloom. That's going to mean that it's going to be shut down considerably in terms of damage output. It looks like, oh, Pumpkin's actually got an offensive move of itself, going for that Rock Slide. Creating the Whimsicott. We see the Bullet Seed coming out here, targeting Sableye. Great move by my opponent there. Sableye's going to go down. But what that means is now I can just Encore Breloom into Bullet Seed and Heatran wins. Unless Pumpkin can somehow knock out my Heatran. But it shouldn't be able to. But yeah, this is a really interesting team. I mean, it's really difficult to use a mono-type team well, especially Grass. Grass is one of the weaker types. But kind of Halloween themed here, even though it's a little couple days after Halloween. So I'm just going to go for the Encore here onto Breloom. Force it to Bullet Seed. If it protects, you know, then you're stuck protecting. I just Heat Wave here. And Gardevoir's Hyper Voice closes things out. Yep, he's not even going to do anything about it, so I'm just going to get the Encore onto Breloom. He is now locked into Bullet Seed and burned, so he's not going to be doing any damage right now. Targeting on the Heatran, presumably with the superpower before. Maybe if my opponent doubles up here and the Pumpkin's faster than Heatran, something could happen. I mean, this game is still pretty close given that it's Heatran against an all-grass type team. And I actually missed the Heat Wave there as well against the Breloom. And I actually don't get the knockout there on Pumpkin. It goes for the Rock Slide. Doesn't do enough to knock either of my Pokemon out, though. Pumpkin could protect here. Yeah, let's just Heat Wave again. I win the game anyway with Gardevoir in the back. And I'll... Actually, I don't want to Tailwind here in case he sets up Trick Room. Actually, then I can just Encore you. I'll just Tailwind here, so Gardevoir wins. He doesn't have any options. That's why Whimsicott's so nice with Encore. You can really lock your opponent, especially in the late game. So we see Bullet Seed targeting Heatran once again. But each seed is literally doing 3 damage. So even with 5 hits, Heatran will be able to survive. Looks like he's going to get it though. That's 4 hits, right? Nice! 5-hit attack against Heatran. With the burn though, not doing anything, does around 20 damage. Heatran's Heat Wave connects with both Pokemon. That's going to be the game. So we take a pretty exciting, I mean, like, the team obviously wasn't the most competitive on my opponent's side, but, like, you should never underestimate your opponent's teams, even if they're running, you know, centric Pokemon or mono type or stuff like that, because chances are they're still built pretty competitively, and you should assume that, so you should, you know, assume the movesets that you typically see from these Pokemon. But my opponent did have a lot of tricks, Rock Slide from Pumpkaboo, which I think is actually a great option, because it covers the Fire-type weakness somewhat. For example, against Mega Charizard, I think that's actually really difficult. I don't even know how my opponent would beat Charizard in general. Like, Heatran was a little bit easier for my opponent to deal with because you do have Breloom. And honestly, if I didn't pull that switch out that first turn, I outright could have lost the game. So that was a really important switch. And ultimately, that's what would have won me the game. I think if I lost Heatran on the first turn, the game would have been over right there and then, since I had no answer to Ferrothorn. So like I say, you know, you still have to play smartly against these kind of teams. You can't just be careless about it. So do pick up a win there. Let's see what we find for our next opponent. The Cacturne in there was definitely the most intriguing Pokemon, though, going for that superpower and the Rottillier. And Will-O-Wisp there did give us a lot of scares, missing all those times, but that's the thing, Sableye is bulky enough that even if you miss 1 or 2, you can still recover from it as long as you connect with the later ones. So the most important one, if we missed the one against Cacturne actually that one turn, we would have lost the game since Heatran switched into a superpower, which, like I mentioned in retrospect, might have been a little bit of a misplay. We're going to find a 1781 rated player from Japan for our next opponent of the day. This time, my opponent rocking a much more standard looking team of Kangaskhan, Gengar, Heatran, Cresselia, Landorus, Therian Form, and Sylveon. So, a bunch of questions to ask her immediately. 1, is the Gengar Mega, or is it Focus Sash? And 2, actually, I mean, that's basically the most important question, but what are all the items that the other Pokemon are carrying? So I actually don't know my damage calcs with the Assault Vest Heatran. I'm not sure if it can actually take an Earth Power. I would not think so, but I'd have to check up on that. Otherwise, Heatran's really good for walling Sylveon, Gengar, and Cresselia. But the thing is, Heatran can't do too much against Cresselia if it has Calm Mind or Hidden Power Ground, which isn't too rare. That could definitely be obnoxious. I don't like this matchup in general. So how do we counteract? Actually, I like Sableye as a lead. I think the Cresselia is just going to be the most annoying thing. And the reason why I don't want Whimsicott here, I mean, I could set up Tailwind, but I think Sableye going for the burns is really important. I could Sableye Terrakion or Sableye Rotom. I don't like not having like a Ghost or Dark type or, yeah, like one of those two to deal with the Cresselia. I don't have a way to hit it for super effective other than Foul Play from Sableye, which I'm kind of scared of right now. So if I lead with Sableye, my opponent I would think would go with a combination of Kangaskhan, Gengar, Cresselia maybe. And also, the other question I was supposed to mention is, does Kangaskhan have Scrappy Fake Out? If he doesn't, this match gets a little bit easier. I honestly really like Heatran here as a lead. Mainly for protection against the Gardevoir, or the Cresselia I should say. This is really difficult. But I want Rotom Wash as well. We'll go Heatran, Gardevoir. Yeah, I opted for Terrakion here just because of its ability to hit Kangaskhan and Heatran. Rotom can knock out the Landorus, which... Actually, now that I think about it, Rotom would have been the right call. That was a mistake to not bring Rotom. I mean, sure, I can burn the Landorus, but he can just spread Earthquakes around. We actually see Landorus make an appearance with the Gengar immediately. Bad play on my end there. So I will be able to get the Will-O-Wisp buff against the Landorus, but Don't really want to switch out here either. Maybe I'll just Will-O-Wisp Heat Wave. Yeah. Oh, he actually would draw. Oh, that's Heatran coming in. No, it's Sylveon. Whoa, nice. Nice. So my opponent overthought it a little bit. That, or he didn't want the Landers to get burned. We just see Shadow Ball coming out here. I would hope targeting Heatran. Nice. And the Assault Vest there, putting in work. I hang on with a ton of HP, but I missed the Heat Wave on Gengar, which definitely hurts me a little bit right now. Heat Wave doing decent damage against the Sylveon, but that miss. So we're probably going to see a Hyper Voice, and this team is not exactly the best against Hyper Voice either. I really don't want to lose Sableye, because I need to be able to burn the Kangaskhan and the Landorus in the back. So the question is, do I just sacrifice something here? Or do I go for the 50-50 and swagger Sylveon? Or I could just Flash Cannon it. Actually, I should be faster, right? So I can just Flash Cannon a Foul Play here. Or swagger. Do I want to swagger a Foul Play? Oh, or I could Sunny Day. Sunny Day Heat Wave. But I'm not sure if that's enough to knock out Sylveon. I don't think it is, because you have to consider the fact that it's also taken some damage. Yeah, so actually, I'm going to go for the swagger onto Gengar, and I'm just going to Flash Cannon. Heatran should be faster. Nice, so swagger connects here. And I'm going for the swagger because then Foul Play will be able to pick up the knockout the next turn if it hits itself in confusion. And even if it doesn't, you know, your Gengar is inclined to switch out now. So let's see if it hits itself in confusion. It gets the Shadow Ball off, unfortunately. Probably targeting down Heatran. Oh no, targeting down Sableye this time. Oh, but he's got Hidden Power on Sylveon, and he outspeeds. Is that enough to knock me out? Not with the Assault Vest, it's not. I hang on with 31 HP, get the Flash Cannon off, so that's perfect. I'm really surprised he opted to not go for the Hyper Voice there. Maybe expecting the switch out there from Sableye. So it's definitely been a good first 2 turns, but the game is still certainly far from over, especially with the fact like Kangaskhan's coming in right now. So, like, I definitely want to get a burn or 2 off here. You know what? I'm just going to go for the Will-O-Wisp onto Kang here. And I'm going to go for the Heat Wave. Okay, so he does stay in Scrappy form. He does go for the Fake Out. He is rolling the dice a little bit right now with Gengar. Does Gengar manage to attack through Confusion? Let's see. Yes, it hits itself in Confusion. That's good. We really needed that. And Heat Wave does connect. So I'm not sure whether he was targeting down the Sableye there or not, but this ensures that I get the Will-O-Wisp off against Kangaskhan, which is very important. And I'm going to just go for a Heat Wave again. So he's going to Mega Evolve, that's fine. Unless he has Protect, but I think with Terrakion Gardevoir in the back, we should be able to close it out. My opponent really rolling the dice by keeping Gengar in, but I honestly think that's your only option right now. Oh, he has Protect too! What? No way. Does Gengar attack through Confusion once again? Does it hit itself? Gets the Shadow Ball off. Who are you targeting? Heatran or Sableye? Smart enough to target down Sableye. Wow, I can't believe it. He had Protect and Fake Out. Heat Wave connects with Gengar, but maybe I should have switched out my Sableye there. Interesting. Okay, so given that Kangaskhan just protected, I can just bring out Terrakion and close combat it. But then it's Gardevoir versus Landorus. And Gardevoir can't take 2 Earthquakes. If I bring in Gardevoir, I could potentially trace the Intimidate, which is... Oh, but then... The thing is, by bringing out Terrakion, I threaten you with close combat. So it comes down to, do I want to risk it and go for the Trace? Wow, I can't believe that Kangaskhan had Protect and Fake Out. I mean, one of the players in the top 8 at Worlds actually had both of them. But still, man. I guess that means he doesn't run Sucker Punch. I'm going to bring in Gardevoir. Because if I bring in Terrakion, I get intimidated too. I don't know what item the Landorus has either, which is kind of big. So what do we trace here? Tracing Intimidate would be so huge. Do we get it? Trace? No! We get the Parental Bond. I mean, Parental Bond's kind of cool, right? But, like, that's not what we need at this point in the game. Okay. Dang. I really needed that trace. So you can't Earthquake here. You probably just Rock Slide. So I could switch out Gardevoir into Terrakion and hope to trace it once again. That might be the play. Unless my opponent predicts that. This is tough. Okay, let's say I don't switch out. I protect, then Terrakion comes in, then you just protect Rock Slide and win. And protect Earthquake, I should say. But then again, I can protect my Terrakion. Yeah. I should have conserved Sableye a little bit better since it's important for the Landers. But even if I had Rotom in this matchup, the thing is Kangaskhan just outspeeds and knocks it out. So without Whimsicott, it becomes more difficult. Though I guess I could Trick Room, but Trick Rooming against Kangaskhan is pretty hard. Yeah, so he's going to Rock Slide here. Now I wonder, because if you are Choice Scarf, then you actually lock yourself into Rock Slide. That knocks out Heatran. What did Kangaskhan go for? He did just go for the return. So I could have made the gamble there, but I opted not to. So I'll bring in Terrakion. Now we've got some mind games. Because what you could do is just attack with Kangaskhan, expecting Terrakion to protect. Because the obvious play for my opponent is to just protect Kangaskhan and Earthquake, assuming you're a Assault Vest. So is there any way I could win this one without playing on that 50-50? Let's say I Trick Room here. If I close combat Trick Room, then I've taken too much damage with Gardevoir to win. I think. I really want to just close combat here. I think my opponent's going to attack with Kangaskhan. I went for the Trick Room play. He didn't... Oh, he's locked into Rock Slide. He's Scarf. Does he flinch Terrakion? No! We had the win! We had the win! Okay, well, it's still not over because I did go for Trick Room. Okay, so we're still in it. Rock Slide, you are too good. I don't know if Hyper Voice can knock out Kangaskhan, so do I Psychic it? Do I predict the Protect from Kangaskhan right now? Can Hyper Voice knock out Kangaskhan? Let's see, what did Kangaskhan take? It took damage from that Heat Wave. But that was... I'm going for the Psychic. Okay, no Protect. Let's see if Psychic picks up the knockout. If it doesn't, we lose. No! It comes so close, but yeah. Return comes out and knocks out the Cresselia, not the Gardevoir. Oh, we had that one if it weren't for the flinch, but that's why Terrakion or Landers is so good. Great game to my opponent there, though. Really well played. The Fake Out and the Protect from Kangaskhan was one thing that caught me off guard. But, you know, at the end, I made the right play there. If we didn't get the flinch, the game was over at that point, especially with Trick Room going up. But that's why Landers is so good, and that's why one flinch can turn the game around. But great game to my opponent, really well played, and a pretty cool team at that. We were able to, you know, play pretty well there for the most part, and that's a game where I'd win the majority of the time, so I don't mind that too much in terms of the plays I made. Just a really heartbreaker there. I mean, if I protected Terrakion, could have maybe pulled something off. But I didn't know the item on Landers, which was the biggest issue, because obviously he revealed himself to have the Choice Scarf. But even if you know he has a Choice Scarf, you know, you could just go for the flinch and try to knock out. Actually, I guess you low kick there all the time. So yeah. But that was a really interesting match, a really fun one at that, even though we lost because of the flinch at the end. Fantastically played on my opponent's end. I really wish Psychic picked up the knockout, because then it would have been hyped to see whether 3 Rock Slides would have knocked out Gardevoir at single target, presumably so. So definitely a fantastic game at that. But great game to both of my opponents. That first team was really interesting. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. As always, leave a like if you did, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright, peace.